Hi, I'm Deidre Perry. I am with Enneagram Las Vegas, and today I'm here to introduce Sarah Morales and Steve Purdom. We're here to talk about the workshop that's coming up on June 7th, Make Yourself Easier to Live With.
I'm Sarah Morales, like Deidre said, and I have been studying the Enneagram for about 10 years, and with working with Steve to train and coach the Enneagram for probably the last 5 years. I'm also Vice President of Customer Experience at Credit One Bank. I've been in banking for 25 years. I have a master's degree in organizational development and leadership, and surprising or not, it fits really well together. This leading people and process in the bank and learning about the Enneagram and how I can leverage my strengths to do my job better, but also to get along better with other people. So it's been a really positive and enlightening experience for me and for my family.
I am Steve Purdom, and I'm president and founder of Enneagram Las Vegas. Enneagram Las Vegas began 16 years ago with a breakfast meeting with 3 people, and currently we have over 500 email addresses. The Enneagram is one of the most useful tools for understanding yourself and others, and that is why I've spent the last 25 plus years studying and teaching the Enneagram. And on the meeting on June the 7th, we are going to expand some of the ideas of the Enneagram through tritypes and instinctual subtypes. And Sarah will make her comments about tritypes first.
Sure. Steve and I and so many of the people we've worked with have found so much value in understanding our Enneagram types, how to be more aware of our natural and impulsive reactions, really so that we can be more deliberate about what we say and do. And so at this workshop, we're going to start with a quick overview of all the types, because knowing your primary type is key to understanding yourselves. We always take some time to welcome our new folks. And then in this workshop, we're going to dive into tritypes. I really love talking about tritypes because not all people are the same, even people of the same type. And I find it very helpful to look at how we may have easy access to other types. And usually there are 3 that stand out as easier to access for all people. For example, I'm type 7, but I have pretty easy access to type 3, which is the achiever type, and type 1, the perfectionist type. This makes me pretty good and pretty easy for me to manage processes and systems. I have a very good friend who's also a type 7. She leans more into type 2, the helper, and type 9, the peacemaker. So as you can imagine, she's much more positive and looking for places to help support and build connections between people. So it's really exciting for us to help people see those different aspects of themselves and how Enneagram can really help you get out of the box you may be in. And we're really not intending to identify your type and always stay in that type. So that'll be the first part of the workshop on the 7th. And then Steve, do you want to talk about the instinctual subtype?
Yeah, and I'll add just a couple of comments about tritypes too. I first learned tritypes from Catherine Farber when she taught them at the International Enneagram Association meeting, which was in Las Vegas. And as soon as I heard the tritypes, I realized that this was the piece that was missing for me personally, because I clearly had type 8 as part of my personality type. And as a dominant type 3, I did not have access to type 8. And so my mother was a type 8, so I was trying to explain my behavior that maybe I had just copied her. But once I heard tritypes from Catherine, I realized we have a type in each one of the centers, therefore tritypes. And my tritypes are 3, 8, and 5. And I clearly spend time at each of them individually, but I also am the summation of those 3 types. That's true of all of us. So a good example is 269 is called the Good Samaritan. And I know several people with that tritype, and they are absolutely good Samaritans. They are generous with their time and are glad to help people who are in need. And so Catherine calls that the archetype. It's a more overarching explanation of who we are. And so that's going to be discussed in that first session. In the second section, we are going to talk about instinctual subtypes. Again, the most important thing is your dominant Enneagram type, but you are more than just your dominant Enneagram type. You are the tri-types, as we mentioned, but you are also your instinctual subtype, which runs pretty much 24/7. And the instinctual subtype is present and explains whether we prefer to take action alone, take action with one other person, or take action within a group. But the combination of type and subtype is actually more nuanced and complex. The type and subtype can facilitate each other or they can be in conflict. A good example is type 9 with a social instinctual subtype. Type 9 is a withdrawn type and they are very shy and they like lots of time by themselves. The social instinctual subtype wants to be in groups and they feel like they are safer when they are in groups. So a social type 9 is almost on a daily basis in conflict and as to whether to withdraw and be by themselves or whether to go out of the house and be with other people. So they have to balance this conflict. And what happens is when you bring this to consciousness, it makes it more fluid resolution of the dissonance that type 9 with the social instinctual subtype has. The other thing I would say about all this is that Enneagram is a really wonderful tool. And you should start out with your dominant Enneagram type. It is the most important. Then, as you get more experienced, you should add these other nuances to your understanding, which will explain all of your behavior eventually. So look forward to seeing everyone on June the 7th and hope that we all learn something new about ourselves.
So, Steve, I love the title of this workshop, Make Yourself Easier to Live With. Can you say a little bit about that, Sarah or Steve, what that title means?
Sarah, why don't you go first?
Sure. What I find the benefit of knowing yourself and your own sort of automatic reactions is you can learn to manage them and control them. So I'm having a conversation with Deidre and something maybe triggers a fear or a memory in me. If I understand what's happening, then I can think about how I'm going to respond to Deidre and not make it about me, but continue to make it about Deidre. And so I think it's really our responsibility to know ourselves and to make ourselves better. It's much easier actually than making everybody else easier to live and work with. So Steve and I always take the approach, hey, work on yourself and your understanding and compassion for yourselves and others. And then it makes all the relationships in your lives easy.
I love that.
Sarah, that's a great explanation. I don't have much to add to that. I actually came up with the tagline, making yourself easier to work with. And my educational background is in medicine and mathematics. And so this sentence ends with a preposition. And I remembered vaguely from English that you shouldn't end sentences with a preposition. But when I actually explained it to a large group of Enneagram people, they said it's okay. That the meaning of it is worth ending it with the preposition. So we went with that. The implication is that it's your responsibility to deal with your own emotional reactivity to other people. And that's the value in that title. Making yourself easier to live with, not changing your partner so that they will be easier for you to live with. It's a totally different perspective. And so that's how we came to use this for the title of our meeting on June the 7th.
Yeah, it's great. And I really love the blend of instinctual subtypes and subtypes. Is this a workshop that a beginner could learn a lot from, or do you think it would be maybe a little too advanced for them?
Yeah, well, I always try to start off with an overview of the types. And what I find with beginners is it goes fast, but through the whole thing, you're going to pick up information that you're like, hey, that sounds like me. I want to go find out more about this. I mean, I went to workshop after workshop before I really even could go through all 9 types. So I think anyone, any level is going to learn something, but that will kind of depend on how deep you go or what you take away, how much background you have. But yeah, I think it would be fun for anyone.
Yeah.
That's great.
Sarah's going to go through the explanation of the 9 types, and she has great language to explain those 9 types. And then I'm going to do 2 panels in the afternoon. I haven't chosen them yet because I'm looking to see the makeup of the group. We have 57 people signed up so far. So I'm gonna pick types in 2 different centers, and I'll pick types in which we have a large contingency at the meeting. The other thing is, Sarah and I are going to do a beginner meeting on the Enneagram on June the 20th.
First.
This meeting will be great. It'll introduce you to the Enneagram. You will learn about the 9 types from Sarah. You will learn about the instinctual subtypes from the afternoon session, and you'll also learn about 2 types in depth. So you will learn a lot, even as a beginner at this meeting. And then on June the 21st, you can ask Sarah and I all the questions that you have about the Enneagram, and we will focus on making sure that you know what your dominant type is at that meeting.
Oh, that sounds great. I also wanted to ask you both. I noticed that the workshop is at the South Point. What prompted this new move?
Good question. We have really outgrown our current space. We have had some great experiences at Maggiano's and some great service. They have really taken care of us, but we need more room and more flexibility with the timing of the workshops. And at South Point, we get that. We can start earlier, we can run later, we can spread out. And I'm really looking forward to that. I think it will make it easier for us to engage the full group, for people to hear and participate. I think it's the biggest benefit. Eventually, we could have breakout sessions, but for this initial one, I think people who've been with us at Maggiano's will really recognize the fact that there's just more room to work together and engage with the whole group.
The other advantage of South Point too also is its accessibility. You can reach South Point off of I-15, which is the easiest way. It's about a quarter of a mile from the Silverado exit on I-15, but also 215 running east and west will get you to 15 so that you can get on I-15 for the short distance to Silverado exit. So, and then once you get to the casino, the ingress and egress is very accessible. The self-parking is on the immediate right, and the valet parking is on the eastern side of the casino. Both are free, which is nice these days in Las Vegas. The other thing that happened at our last meeting at Maggiano's is one of the Type 6s came up to me and said that we were almost at the fire code for the meeting room. And so I took that as a hint that we probably need to look for a larger space. And that's what Sarah and I have done for the last 4 months. And Point has been extremely responsive to our request for space. And we look forward to working with them long term.
That's great. And if someone wants to learn more about Enneagram Las Vegas or a little bit more about this event, where can they go?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. We have our website, Enneagram Las Vegas. This is posted there. Lots of information about the organization. Deidre, you can probably post it on this video too, so people have a quick way to access it. We always keep that updated with our upcoming events. Like Steve talked about the intro session, information on that one will be on the website as well.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you both for taking some time and explaining this awesome 2-part workshop. It sounds amazing for beginners or anyone who's been involved in the Enneagram for a while. So I really appreciate your time.
Sure thing. Thanks, Deidre.
Right,
Thank
thanks.
you, Deidre.